The Civil War itself may have ended in 1865, but new battlegrounds quickly emerged. What would American democracy look like without slavery? What rights would Black Americans now enjoy? Several amendments to the Constitution, approved during the period after the war known as Reconstruction, tried to answer those questions. In 1870, the 15th Amendment extended voting protection to men of all colors, North and South, and it gave a new birth of freedom to those who had recently been enslaved. However, the 15th Amendment didn't include Black women or women of any other color. Before the Civil War, abolitionists and supporters of women's rights had been close allies and fought together for justice. Supporters of the 15th Amendment said women had to wait for suffrage, that Americans would not give the vote to women and Black men at the same time. It would be 70 more years before women could vote nationwide. Black men in the South used their new voting power to elect about 2,000 Black men to national, state, and local offices. These Reconstruction governments in Southern states took on a broader role to improve the lives of their citizens. For the first time, Southern states opened free public schools, which benefited the children of both poor whites and the formerly enslaved. Black and white voters in the South helped create a vision of interracial democracy, a more perfect union where all people work together. But white outlaw groups would not tolerate Black equality. They formed organizations like the Ku Klux Klan, KKK, to murder and terrorize Black people for voting. Federal troops tried to suppress such violence over and over again. After the 1876 presidential election, in which electoral votes in the South were contested, the political parties struck a deal. Known as the Compromise of 1877, it gave the election to Republicans if they agreed to remove troops protecting Black Americans in the South. After Reconstruction, Southern states enacted new laws that limited the right of Black men to vote, although they did not mention the word race. These laws required literacy tests that were judged by white officials and special taxes for voting, known as poll taxes. In 1890, with white people firmly in charge, the Southern states began to pass new constitutions that legally established a system of oppressive racial segregation, named Jim Crow, after a character in a white minstrel show. Waves of violence against Black Americans also prevented them from voting. After World War II ended in 1945, Black veterans fought for equal rights at home. In the South, Black men and women led voter registration drives in the face of violent opposition. Their sacrifices of blood and tears resulted in the Voting Rights Act of 1965, a federal law that forbade discriminatory practices. Almost 100 years after it was ratified, the 15th Amendment once again began to have real effect. How was the 15th Amendment an essential step in creating a more perfect union?